So as you can see, we wound up in Flintstone, Georgia today to go to Top Notch Customs. Everybody talks about this place because they're #1 for coatings. They coat everything.
Unbelievable.
You see the
Unbelievable.
shop. There's one of everything. One of the first oddest things he's ever coated is a skull. It's a long story. You'd have to really get with him. But we came down here to kind of show off ZyBar, and you know, it was wild to have a real pro paint this in front of us. You know, they blasted the material, and then they hit it with ZyBar. Now, it was amazing to see how easy it went on and how quickly.
He did this thing in less than 5 minutes time. I mean, he started with the hard areas, that rough interior. Most difficult areas to reach in an intake is your internal. So he started there, the most difficult spaces. Then he worked to the outside, but he had this innovative design where he had the dual hook system. He never had to touch the part. I mean, the guy's a pro.
See, mine would, I'd have handprints all over it, but you know, the thing I was wondering, and you could probably tell me about this, when he sprayed it, does this have a different way of attaching to the metal? Because it looked like as soon as it was colored, he'd move on. Like, if it was me, I think I'd have runs or drips or something like that.
It's really the key with ZyBar is when you change the color of the metal, because when you're blasting this intake, it's a light gray color. So as you change the color of that metal to the bronze satin, you're done. I mean, we're talking less than a 2 mil thick coating. So he did a phenomenal job.
Now, if you're like me, you're thinking, all right, how does this work with my ride? You can literally, I mean, once this is done, how long does it take to cure? And how long would it take to get it on my car?
So you got two options. You can do an air cure. If you're doing it at home and you don't have a commercial oven that you can put the product in, you can cure it via air for 5 days. And then when you bolt that product on that's been air cured, you put it on and let that engine idle for about 12 to 15 minutes. And you'll see as that temperature starts to elevate, gets above 650 degrees or so, that header or that intake will start to give off like a white opaque smoke. And you'll follow that all the way down through the header. Once you see that, it happens for about 15 to 20 seconds, then you're done.
Now, how about, one of the reasons we came to Flintstone, Georgia is because I knew they had like rows and rows of ovens here. What if I put it in one of these pro ovens?
Yeah, that's it, right on. 2 hours at 450 degrees. You take that car out to the track and you run it as hard as you want.
Drive it like a rental. Love it. This is cool. Now, color selection. I mean, this is one of my favorites because it has like a real special look, and a lot of pro builders have used this color. But what's the color selection like?
We've got 3 options in the ZyBar line. We've got bronze satin, which is what you're looking at in this beautiful intake here. We have midnight black, and then we offer cast, which is like a brushed aluminum. It's a more traditional look. This is just sexy. I mean,
you know what I like? Just one more thing. You know, when you talk about learning how to shoot this, as you come up in the builder scope, this you have a little time to touch this up and work with it as you're painting it.
Like you do. So as you're coating this intake and you see a spot that you coated lightly or you missed an area or whatever, within about 40 minutes, you can come back and touch that area up. It's something that's really unique with the ZyBar coating is it bonds to itself. Even if you scratch it, let's say post-cure, you're bolting it on and you slip a wrench and you scratch the intake. You can take a little small dab and you can touch up that area and the product will bond to itself.
Well, you know, one of the cool tricks was Jason had an LED light. After he went through, it was like he was painting jewelry. He went down there and he painted. Then he hit it and looked inside, because the inside, he was talking about, just as important as the outside. He hit it with a light to look for imperfections and he nailed it the first time.
He did. He's a pro. The guy's a pro. The inside of your component is probably the most important area. And really what we recommend is coating the inside and the outside of your parts, especially when you're talking headers or exhaust or manifolds. You want to coat the inside because that's the closest area to the heat source, that hot gas that's coming out of the block.
That's the feedback I got from Jason, because he was talking about they have a lot of people who bring in race product here. Marine engines, you know, all different types of stuff that is exposed to high heat.
I mean, he's coating dragsters over here, dragster frames. I mean, the guy's a pro.
That's what I love about ZyBar. Listen, if you want more information about ZyBar, go to the website, zycoat.com. Zycoat.com is made in the USA, so chances are, if you have questions, go to the website. Chances are, you'll meet my friend Tim. Zycoat.com. Check it out.